Hi guys and welcome. Today I'm finally back with a new sound comparison, and this time we are going to compare the JBL Xtreme 2 to the Harman Kardon Onyx Studio 5. Many people have already requested this comparison, as of course the comparison isn't quite clear. The JBL is a bit more expensive, the Harman Kardon is less expensive but also a bit bigger and has bigger drivers. Both are made by the same company, or not directly, but it's Harman, so they own everything basically. And starting with the price, the Harman Kardon is about 200 euros. Sometimes you can find it for below 200 euros, sometimes for more. I pay 230, and the JBL can already be found for 250, but the release price I think was 299 with the JBL Xtreme 2. Feature-wise, the JBL definitely wins. It has a charge out port, much better battery life, it's waterproof and also quite a bit better to handle. I think it's a bit lighter and also of course smaller and more rugged than the Harman Kardon. So the Harman Kardon definitely is not an outdoor speaker meant to be, I don't know, thrown around, but it's just a normal speaker with a battery built in case you want to move it around, or I don't know, take it out to a picnic or something, but nothing for a party. And also let's compare the drivers. So the Harman Kardon is a mono system. It just has one tweeter, one 12cm woofer and two passive radiators. The JBL has two tweeters, two full range or two mid-bass drivers and two passive radiators as well. The JBL has slightly smaller drivers, but again it's a stereo system, while the Harman Kardon just is a mono system, which might be important to some of you. But now I would say put up your headphones, as this again is a binaural microphone recording and they require headphones to be listened to, and enjoy the sound comparison.
love another. Oh, if I could, I would. It was easy to forget about, but I never really understood how people move on from a heart to love another. Oh, if I could, I would. I don't wanna shower, even if I stay, 'cause I don't wanna wash you off my skin. It's been about an hour, I'm still trembling, oh, feeling you deep within. Open bottles on the door, rolling papers on the floor. Don't want a cigarette yet, don't wanna drink of my breath. Yes, wanna taste you, taste some more. Pouring through my pores. I'm going back in my bed to play it back in my head. 'Cause I can't love nobody like I love myself. I love myself, only you. No one's ever touched me like I touch myself. No, nobody else. Only you.
To the night time, she's burning. Each way she was turning, and I still know the pain. Brought me late one day. She was always somewhere behind me. Knew there was something, but now I found the truth. The thing she'll never use. Like a liar, on fire. She's waiting there around the corner. Just a little air on ya. It's a quarter to midnight, and she's leaving just when she thought I was sleeping. And I could not believe the things that I had seen.
I'm in the mood now. Okay, here we go.
There were people on the sidewalks, rolling down the avenue, or sitting outside in cafes. We were looking for the muse. Well, I was locked in by the system, where no freedom is the rule. Now I spend all my time and understood. It once was my life. That's what everybody said. The things I used to do. Yeah, the people that were friends. I've got to make it mean something.
There was an old bitch used to live in this house, traveling havoc both north and south. Old witch living in a bruised and beam house.
a tin, loaded revolver and a rolling pin. Old road leads to not much of a place where a fresh young wife dare not show her face. New tracks in the snow, the buck and the doe, my only companions at 40 below. There was an old rig used to live in this house, traveling havoc both north and south. Old witch living, old stack beam house. And now I'm making it mine.
Yeah.
So I think this is it, and I've played enough tracks, and overall I think that you cannot really pick a clear winner. On max volume, although I will say that the JBL is the winner, the Harman Kardon keeps more bass but also sounds quite a bit softer overall, so it's not as loud, but it also has the softer sound overall, which means that it has more limiting going on. It doesn't sound as extreme as the JBL Xtreme, so it's not as pushed forward, not as clear and aggressive sounding as the JBL, but rather quite sophisticated. Both of them of course get louder when you plug them into mains, so they both have a battery and both have a power outlet mode, so then I think they should be comparably loud, but in the battery mode the JBL definitely is louder than the Harman Kardon, and also of course due to the treble boost sounds a bit more aggressive and a bit louder and rather reduces more bass and has less compression going on, while the Onyx Studio 5 rather tries to keep the bass but also does some more limiting and compression overall. The Onyx Studio 5 I will say definitely sounds more adult. This is what you can clearly say, it sounds more adult and a bit bigger, more grown up than the JBL Xtreme 2. It has quite a bit deeper bass and just sounds a bit more beefy and a bit bigger overall with any track basically. While on the other hand the JBL has a bit more upper bass in the, let's say, 70 to 80 Hz bass region. By the way, I'm still on the second firmware with the JBL Xtreme 2, which is the best one. So the first one was okay, the second one was really great, they improved loudness and deep bass, and with the third firmware, which is the newest one, I think it's, I don't know, I don't quite remember, 1.7 or something, they again did something else and it doesn't sound as good as the second one, so I won't update it to really get out the best sound from it, but still it has a bit more upper bass than the Onyx Studio 5, doesn't sound as big, doesn't sound as beefy. The Onyx rather goes into the direction of the Go Play and sounds just as full-bodied, while the Xtreme sounds like a smaller speaker. But of course the Onyx Studio 5 doesn't only have advantages over the JBL. Of course the mono can sometimes sound more direct, which might be an advantage, but of course the stereo also was really helpful with some slightly more noisy tracks, so everything sounded a bit more clear, a bit more open, while the Harman Kardon, together with the sometimes slightly lacking treble, can sound a little bit tied down sometimes, a bit too closed, while the JBL, due to the stereo and due to the treble boost, just gives a more open sound, more soundstage of course. And I think this also eventually led to the JBL being louder than the Harman Kardon. Of course the Harman Kardon has a bigger driver, but it just has 2 active drivers, while the JBL has 4, which usually can be an advantage. But yeah, in the end I will say the advantages of the JBL, apart from the stereo speakers built in, definitely are the clearer mids compared to the Harman Kardon. The Harman Kardon again sounds beefier overall, so the mids sound more powerful, while with the JBL they definitely sound a bit clearer than with the Harman Kardon, sometimes a bit more agile, a bit quicker than the Harman Kardon. And also the treble, I think I preferred it together with the stereo and the slightly boosted treble. It just gave a clearer and a bit more sparkling impression, while the Harman Kardon did sound nice but sometimes a bit too sophisticated. So if they just would have boosted treble 1 decibel more on the Harman Kardon, it would be just fine, but like this sometimes I think it's just I don't know, lacking a bit of that sparkle. And together with, again, the mono, with the Onyx Studio 5, it sometimes can create a slightly, I don't know, close sound compared to the JBL Xtreme 2. So in the end I will say it's up to you, and it depends on what you prefer. If you're looking for an outdoor speaker which is very loud and has great battery life, and you also like stereo and you also like a really clear sound, which of course doesn't mean that the Xtreme has more resolution, but it just sounds a bit clearer, a bit more sparkling sometimes, then again go with the Xtreme 2. But if you like a really sophisticated sound with really adult bass, really big sounding bass, rather like the Harman Kardon Go Play, and you don't really need that great battery life and you don't take your speaker out all the time, you just carry it around sometimes, the Harman Kardon Onyx Studio 5 probably is the better choice, as it again just sounds a bit more adult than the JBL. And if you don't care about mono, that might be the one for you. I personally would probably prefer the Harman Kardon, although sometimes it's lacking a bit of the treble compared to the Xtreme. It simply sounds more adult, like it's in another class. But again, if you want max volume and you want to take your speaker out all the time and you need something rugged and durable, the Xtreme is the one for you. So in the end, it just depends on everyone's personal preferences and opinions. But I think I personally would take the Onyx Studio 5 sound-wise over the Xtreme 2. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like or subscribe to the channel to don't miss out on any new uploads coming in the future. Until then, have a great time and see you in the next one.